Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Walters and I will be presenting a lesson on simultaneous equations today. My colleague is Mrs. Jones and she will be facilitating the webinar on simultaneous equations. Okay then. A couple of things to mention before we get into the actual questions. Today's work could appear on Unit 1 or Unit 2, so you could or could not need a calculator. I must emphasize this point. This work is carried out on a webinar, so if I don't leave enough time for you to carry on with the questions today, you are able to press pause and then continue. If I'm producing something for you today that you are totally lost on, then I would mention that I am revising this topic. I am not teaching it, and there's a big difference. So if you do not follow any of this today, then I would suggest that you go away and look the work up or ask your teacher to go through simultaneous equations. Right, yeah, you're able to carry on at your own pace. Okay then. A skill that we're going to use a lot of today. I would just write your solutions in a book or in a book. Can you try and work those out a minute? Very, very key questions that we are going to use today. What is the lowest common multiple of the following two? So question 1 and then question 2. You might know it off the top of your head. The first number that appears on the 12 times on the multiplication tables of 12 and 3 is 12. So the lowest common multiple is 12. We are going to use that a lot today. If I wrote out my 5 times table and my 4 times table, the lowest common multiple, the first number that appears is 20. So that is the lowest common multiple of 5 and 4. Okay, so let's get on to a question. Couple of key points now. The method that I'm using, that most teachers use, is that we are going to eliminate one of the variables. Now the variables are the letters. Okay, now we have two equations because we need to find two unknowns. The first variable in this particular one, I thought of coffee and tea. Okay, so we have a variable which is C, the price of the coffee, and a variable for T, which is the price of a cup of tea. Okay, so in the first case, we tend to call this equation 1 and equation 2. And as I've said up there, in the first case, we can subtract equation 2 from equation 1 straight away, because we can eliminate the T's. We always line up the C's and the T's, or whatever letters you seem to have, right? We always line them up one on top of each other. If we take this 5t away from 5t up there, so if I said 1 take away 2, and you won't need to write all that down, but I'll do it for the first question. Equation 1, take away equation 2, these values of t disappear. When you take away 5c, take away 2c, you have 3c. So 3c, 35, take away 26 is 9. So 3 cups of coffee is £9, and therefore a cup of coffee is worth £3. Okay, that is always stage 1. Okay, so we've eliminated the variable t, and we've worked out that the price of a cup of coffee is £3. What we always do is the second stage now. We always substitute the value that we found out back into one of the equations above. It doesn't really matter which one. Normally one is easier than the other. I'm going to go for the second equation because the numbers in front of the letters, called the coefficients, seem to be easier. So what I then would say is substitute in equation 2. I always write equation 2 down, simply because it saves me looking up to the top of the page. So if I've written equation 2 down correctly, I'm now going to replace c in there. Now 2 times 3 is 6. So I'm just going to write 6 down. If you want to take another line and say 2 times c, that's fine. So when I rearrange this, 5 cups of tea is worth £26, take away £6. 5 cups of tea worth £20. So obviously a cup of tea is worth £4. Okay, so I've got the two variables that I was trying to find out. A cup of tea is worth £4 and a cup of coffee is worth £3. So then you would probably fill in your answer sheet, and a cup of tea is worth £4. Okay, 4 marks. Okay. I think you should have a look at this question here. Okay, I keep reminding you it's a webinar. If I'm going too fast, just pause the screen. Have a look at this question. They are set up nicely for you, and you should be able to take the bottom line away from the top line. So I'll just pause for a moment for you to try and understand it. I'm going to call that equation 1 and equation 2. And you try and work out the values of A and B. Okay, I don't apologize for moving on fast. It is a webinar. I've got a lot to get through. If it's too fast for you, just pause the screen. I'm going to say the top line, take away the bottom line, because 2a take away 2a is 0a. I've eliminated the value of a. 3b take away what is really 1b. 3b take away 1b is 2b. And 22 take away 14 is 8. So the value of b is obviously equal to 4. I substitute back in question. I'm going to go into equation 2. It looks easier. The numbers 2 and 1 are easier than 2 and 3. So I'm going to substitute back into number 1. So I'm going to write it down because it's a lot to look up to the top of the page otherwise, and I'll probably make an error. You got to make sure that when you substitute back in, you do substitute back in for the letter B. If I substitute in for A, it will be wrong. So in this case, 2A plus the value of B is 4 is equal to 14. So therefore 2A is equal to 10 and A is obviously equal to, I'll write it over here, A is equal to 5. So I've got two answers. I've got a value of A equal to 5 and a value of B equal to 4. Okay, 4 marks. Okay, questions are going to step up slightly now. What I need to do with this particular question, right, with this particular question, I can see that I cannot say the top line take away the bottom line or the other way around. What I need to do is I need to multiply the bottom line by either 2 to turn that into 2c, and then I can take away, or multiply the bottom line by 3 to turn that into 3t. I'm going to multiply the bottom line by 2. It's no better than the other way. Okay, so if I multiply the bottom line by 2, I got 2c plus 2t equals 10. Now, teachers call this question equation number 3. I'm going to call it 2a, simply because it is equation 2, but I've multiplied everything by 2. I'm going to write the other equation 1 underneath it. 2c plus 3t equals 14, and that was equation 1. If you look at these now, you can see that the two c's line up, they're equal, so I'm able to eliminate them. A very, very important point here. If you say the top line take away the bottom line, 2t take away 3t is a negative 1t. I don't want to be working with a negative 1t. So personally, I am going to say the bottom line take away the top. So I'm going to say 1 take away 2a. And by the way, you don't need to write all this on the side. In the exam, the examiner will see that you are saying the bottom take away the top. So 1t is equal to 4. Okay, so now I've got the value of t equal to 4. And by the way, these are cups of coffee and tea again. So the value of a cup of tea is £4. I'm going to substitute into equation 2. It looks a lot easier than equation 1. Okay, so substitute in equation 2. So I'm going to write C plus T equals 5. Okay, now make sure I substitute for the correct one. The value of T is 4. So price of coffee plus £4 for a cup of tea is 5. So it's obvious that the coffee is worth £1. So I would fill in the answer space and say the coffee is worth £1 and the tea is worth £4. All right. So in summary, what I've introduced to you there now is you have to multiply equation 2. You have to multiply this equation. You have to double it up so that you've got 2 C's lined up. You could have trebled them to have the 3 T's lined up, but that's what I chose to do. Okay. If you want to digest that, take your time over it, then pause the screen. Otherwise, I'd like you to have a look at that question. Okay. We'll call the top one equation 1 and the bottom one equation 2. Just so that we're all working on the same way, because you could end up doing a different strategy to what I'm doing. You could multiply the bottom equation by 2, turning this into 4e, or you could multiply the bottom equation by 3 to turn that into 3f. What I am going to do is multiply the bottom equation by 2. Okay, it wouldn't be wrong if you did try to match the f's up, but I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 2. So if you're looking for the same method as me, that's what you need to do. Give yourself a moment just to digest that and have a go at it. Okay, I know you won't have had a chance to finish it, but if you want to, you can pause that screen. Okay, I said I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 2, so here goes. 2e times 2 is 4e. 1f times 2 is 2f, and 25 times 2 is 50. I'm going to call it 2a. You might call it equation 3. I'm going to write the other equation underneath it, so I'm not sort of scanning up and down too much. 4e plus 3f equals 55. Now you can see that the letter e's line up. You've got a 4e on top and a 4e underneath. Okay, I'll say it again. You could say the top take with the bottom, but I certainly I don't want to deal with this. Pardon me. I don't want to deal with 2f on the top, take away 3f underneath to get a negative f. I would rather say the bottom, take away the top. 1, take away 2a. So 4e, take away 4e, the letter e disappears, we've eliminated. 3f, take away 2f is 1f. 55, take away 50 is 5. So the value of f is 5. Okay, I'm going to, usual thing, substitute in one of the equations above. The second equation looks easier because the numbers in front of the letters are less. Okay, so I'm going to substitute in equation 2. I always try to find the easier option. If you substitute it into equation 1, that is fine. Okay, the letter F is 5. Once again, warning, make sure you do not substitute in instead of E. Okay, that would get you, oh, by the way, you got 2 marks to that stage. You've got a mark for substituting your value of f. Let's see if we can finish this question off then. 2e equals 25 take away 5, which is 20. The letter e is equal to 10. So I've got 2 values. E is equal to 10 and f is equal to 5. That would go into your answer space for your 4 marks. If you want to pause the screen, please do so. Right, moving on. We're now going to look at slightly harder questions. We're going to look at an option when we have to multiply the top equation and the bottom equation, because going back to our starter, we were looking at the lowest common multiples. So we either want to balance our letter C, the coffees. The lowest common multiple of 5 and 3 is 15. So I can either aim to work to make them both into 15C, or I can work with these, and the lowest common multiple would be 12. So I'm balancing up to try and make them into 12T. I'm going to go with the first one. It's no better than balancing that up, but that's what I'm choosing to do. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the top row by 3. I'm going to turn it into 15. Okay, the top row, 15C plus 9T equals 3 30s would be 90, take away 3 2s is 6, so it's 84. That is equation 1A. The second equation I'm going to times by 5. 5 times that is 15, and that is the key strategy for me. I'm trying to balance those up. 5 times 4 is 20T, and 5 30s, 5 3s are 15, stick a naught on the end. I've now got it that my C's line up like that. I'm going to say, oh, once again, the bottom take away the top. So 2A take away 1A is 11T. 150 take away 84 would be 66. So therefore the value of T is equal to 6. Now I've moved that on. So the bottom take away the top. 11T is equal to 66. So I've got my value of T being 6. Okay, usual thing, substitute in. I'm going to substitute in the bottom one, okay, because the coefficients look easier. Substitute in equation 2. There we go. 3C plus 4T is equal to 30. So I'm replacing the value of T here. So 3C plus 4 6s are 24, but if you want to write it out and take another line, that's up to you. So in summary, 3 coffees plus £24 is £30. So I'm going to say that 3 coffees is equal to 30, take away the 24, which is 6. So obviously a coffee is equal to £2. Okay, so in summary, the price of a coffee is £2 and the price of a tea is £6. Okay, 4 marks in all. So I would like for you to try this question. We got the letter A and the letter B. Can we all try and balance this up, just because we're all doing it the same way? So the lowest common multiple should be 6. Okay, you want to turn them into 6B on the top and 6B on the bottom. Okay, try and balance those up. If you want to do it the other way, that's fine, but I haven't got time to do it the other way. Now you should be able to eliminate the letter B by that strategy. okay, because I'm turning them both into a value of 6b. Okay, I shall do it. If you haven't had time, pause that screen. So the top equation times by 2, so it's 4a plus 6b is equal to 44. Right, I'm going to drop some of all the labeling on the side, otherwise I won't get through everything now. The bottom, I'm going to times by 3, so 9a plus 6b. Right, I'm multiplying the bottom one by, what did I say, 3. So 3 20s and 3 threes is 69. Okay. Bottom one, take away the top because the b's disappear. 9a take away 4a is 5a. 69 take away 44 is 54. 64 is 25. So the value of a is 5. 2 marks. Okay, and now substitute that back in. I'm going to go with the top equation for a change. Substitute in equation 2. 2a plus 3b equals 22. I'm replacing a, so 2 5s are 10, plus 3b is equal to 22. I'm going to write it over here. Therefore, 3b is equal to 22, take away 10, which is 12, so 3b is 12, so b is equal to 4. Okay, and then go and summarize that. A is 5, B is 4. I'm going to move on. Okay. Right, so sometimes what we've done so far is we've always ended up subtracting to eliminate the variable. In this particular question, we've got an add or a plus on the top and a minus underneath. Now, quite often it's advantageous to try and line these up. Okay, and the reason you would prefer to line these up, if you try to balance up the letter x, you'll end up getting something like maybe 12x minus 12x, and that can be problematic for some people. It wouldn't be wrong, you could deal with it, but I'm going to practice equation 2 and equation 1. I'm going to line up the letter y. So with equation 1, I'm going to double it to turn it into 6y, and with equation 2, I'm going to treble it to turn it into a minus 6y. So if I double that, we've got 8x, 6y, 36. If I treble the bottom one, we've got 9x minus 6y is 15. Okay. We add, if I call that 1a and 2a, we do not subtract to eliminate. We add up 6y and a minus 6y. We add in, so 1a plus 2a. We add them. So that and that is 17x, 36, 46, 51. So x is equal to 3. You might take a little bit longer than that, or you might be quicker than me, but the value of x is 3. Okay. Substitute in. I'm going to go with the top equation because I'd rather add than take away. It's easier. It wouldn't matter. So 4x plus 3y is equal to 18. Make sure I substitute for the right one. I'm replacing x with 3. So 4 3s are 12 plus 3y is 18. So 3y is equal to 18, take away 12, which is 6. So the value of y is 2. So I've got a value of y is 2 and the value of x is 3. Okay. Have a look at that. You should try and balance up the letter y again to make them into 6y. So exactly the same strategy as you've just been doing. Okay, I'm conscious of the time, so you can pause if you haven't been allowed enough time to do it. Multiply the top one by 2, so we got 4x plus 6y is equal to 10. Multiply the bottom one by 3, so we've got 15x minus 6y is equal to, now 3 16s would be negative 48. Okay, so it's not easy. I eliminate them by adding them. So if I call that 1a and 2a, I'm adding them. Okay, these disappear. You end up with 19x is equal to minus 38. Now 19 goes into 38 twice, so x is a negative value, it's minus 2. Substitute in, I like equation 1 because it's an add up, and I think add ups are easier. 2x plus 3y is 5. I'm replacing x with minus 2, so 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. Okay, I'll do it up here. So 3y is equal to 5. Minus 4 goes over to become plus 4. 3y is 9. The value of y is 3. Okay, so I've got a value of x is negative 2 and a value of y is positive 3. Okay, if you want to pause the screen and digest that, please do so. Okay. We're going to look at questions in context, right? These have appeared quite often as of, say, the last 4 or 5 years. You have to form 2 equations. Okay, so I'm going to help you with this. I'm going to highlight certain things for Thomas. Thomas, 4 kilograms of raspberries, 5 kilograms of black currants, costing 38. Whereas the other guy, or the lady Gwen, has got 6 kilograms of raspberries, 3 kilograms of blackberries, or black currants, should I say, 39. So we have to write the equation down. So obviously, if you get the equation wrong, it's going to cause a lot of difficulty. The mark scheme will allow for you to get maybe the equation slightly wrong, and you could get 5 out of 6. But let's see if we can do it right. So Thomas buys 4 kilograms of raspberries. So I'm going to use half a raspberries, 5 kilograms of black currants, and it's 38. I'm dropping the pound sign, I'll put that in at the end. Gwen, he's got 6 kilograms of raspberries, 3 kilograms of black currants, giving you 39. So now I'm in a situation like I was with all the questions above. I can either aim to balance up the raspberries, make them into the 12R, or balance up the blackberries and make them into 15B. I'm going to go with the raspberries. Okay, so I'm going to multiply equation 1 by 3 to turn it into 12R, and equation 2 I'm going to multiply it by 2 to turn it into 12R. Okay, let's do this right then. Multiply equation 1 by 3, so we've got 12R plus 15B. Now 340s would be 120, take away 6 is 134. Okay, double the bottom, 6 raspberries doubled up is 12 raspberries. Double this and double this and we've got 6 blackberries, black currants should I say, and double that is double 40, take away 2 is 78. I'm now in a situation where I can eliminate by subtracting. So the top line, take away the bottom line. Okay, so these eliminate, that take away that is 9B, 78, 88, 98, 108, 118, 128. So I've got 50. Let me just check. Yeah, 56. Sorry, 50, 78, 88, 98, 108, 118, 128. Yeah, 56. Unless I've made an error. Let me just check on something here. 30. Oh, I have made an error. I'm going to sort that out now. $39. 9B is 36B. Right, okay, I can see what I've done here. I'm eliminating by subtracting, and what I've got here is 36. Yeah, thank you very much. So that's 36. So the value of the blackcurrant is £4. All right, now that could be you, but I will inform you that should you make that error, you'll still get the marks, pardon me, you will drop a mark there. Okay, so the value of blackcurrant is £4. Let's go forward from there. I'm going to substitute in, I'm going to go with equation 1. Okay, so 4R plus 5B. Oh, that's not very good. 4R plus 5B equals 38. Let's have a look. The value of the blackcurrant is 4, so we got 4R plus 5 times 4 is 20, is 38. So when I move that over, I've got that 4R is equal to 18. Now, that's not giving us a whole number. You can use a calculator if you wish, but it's the price of a raspberry is £4.50. Okay, blackberries was £4, raspberries was £4.50. Okay, now there's a little bit extra on this question, and I'll tell you what's extra is at the bottom. I'm going to reduce the size of the screen a second. At the bottom, it asks us to do something else. How much does Jen pay for 5 kilograms of raspberries and 7 kilograms of blackcurrants? Okay, so it's very easy to forget. So underneath that, then you would say 5 times the price of raspberries. Let's have a look. What I've got is £4.50. Okay, so that's £22.50. 7 kilograms of blackcurrants, as said there, so it's 7 times £4, it's 28. Now the mark scheme says you've got to add them. All right, so hopefully you get £50 and 50 pence, and it's important that you do, if it's money, that you put in the zero. People tend to miss the zero when they're using the calculator. Okay, you could have balanced up the blackberries and made them into 15 blackberries rather than 12 raspberries, because that would have been a strategy that works. Go back to that error. If you'd have made that error and ended up with a silly figure there, you would have just lost that 1 mark, and you carry on and you'd have 5 out of 6. Okay, now it's about trying to find an error should you go wrong. Okay, I'm going to show you the next question. You may not have time to complete it all, but let's do this part together. Evan's family buys 2 adult tickets, 3 child tickets for 36. So I'm going to write that down. 2 adults plus 3 child tickets is £36. Okay. The Smith family buys 1 adult ticket, 2 child tickets for 21. Okay. So the Smith family are doing 1 adult, so I'm just going to write A. How many children? 2 child tickets, and it's 21. So there's your 2 equations. Right, now you could balance up the letter C, but this is far easier because all you need to do, if you were trying to balance up the letter C, you would need to turn that into 6 by doubling the top row and trebling the bottom row. The best way by far is just to multiply the bottom row by 2. Okay, so I'll do this because we are running out of time. Bottom row by 2. So 2 lots of A is 2A. 2 lots of 2C is 4c, and 2 lots of 21 is 42. I'm going to write the equation above. Exactly as I see it. The strategy now is to say one take away the other. It fits nicely, the top take away the bottom, so I'm left with the child ticket being £6. Okay, and when I substitute back in, and I'm not going to now because I'm running out of time, when I substitute back in, you'll get that the adult ticket is going to equal £9, right? And they do ask you once again down here to work out the cost of 2 adults and a child ticket. So I'm going to say that you end up doing this £18 plus £6, and you should end up with £24 being your solution. All right. So I haven't completed that one, but I have given you the answers to work towards. Right. A couple of things you need to remember. So I'll just point out 1 or 2 things to you. See if I can get this going. Right, let me enlarge the screen just a touch. Right, okay. Key points for you. Okay. Show your workings. It's not just your teacher blabbing on about it. The mark schemes allow for you to make that error like I did with one question, and you're still awarded marks. So if I would have carried on with that error that I initially did with one of the questions, I'd have ended up getting 5 out of 6, and that's not bad. Okay, they keep awarding you marks until the second error is made. So well worth showing all your marks, all your workings. These letters are variables. We had coffee and tea with quite a few questions, and the price of coffee and tea obviously varies from shop to shop, so they are variables. Make sure that the variables are lined up above each other, so the C's for coffee are lined up and the T's for tea are lined up. Okay, all those questions I gave you were lined up. However, maybe with those questions towards the end where you were looking at raspberries and blackcurrants, you may have said raspberries and blackcurrants in a different order. What I'm saying is line them up, make sure the raspberries are on top of each other and the blackcurrants are on top of each other. Okay, and only then can you go ahead with trying your strategy. We've got to try and eliminate one of the variables, the coffees or the teas, by either adding or subtracting. Okay. Whenever you found the first variable, you always substitute back into the easiest equation above so that you can try and find out the value of the second variable. Okay, so if you found the price of coffee first, once you've got that, substitute back into one of the equations, the easiest one if possible, to find out the value of the tea. There are different methods for answering the questions. I've shown you one method. I think it's a fairly common method for what I've been showing you. You might have preferred to work it another way, and that's fine. But what I should say is that we should arrive at the same answers. Okay, mine isn't the only method. Okay, so without any other things to say, I think we should finish at that point. Practice is what you need to do. And remember, it's a webinar, you can play things again and again to practice. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.